What's up, everyone, and welcome to Session 3 of the Slam Sessions. I'm your host, Albert Albanese, and as always, if you want to find out what we got going on with not just the Slam Session podcast, but all the other podcasts on the Slam Session network, including the Geek Guy podcast and the Opening Whistle NFL podcast, you can find us on Twitter at the Slam Sessions. Now, of course, this is Session 3 of the Slam Sessions, and we're going to get you started now with a little bit of controversy, actually. So, in the infinite, way of wrestling fans making a big deal out of absolutely nothing, I'm going to start off with today. A video was released that 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw, Roman Reigns was defeated by Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens in a handicap match for the United States Championship. Now, we all saw what happened. Jericho hit the code breaker, got the pinfall, and a fan reacted in the crowd that they cut to, jumping up and down. Now, when they replayed this on Monday Night Raw this past week, and on all the other outlets and social media, it was pointed out that the fan reaction was actually changed. So instead of the guy jumping up and down, it was a guy just holding his head. Now, wrestling fans, as usual, making a big deal out of absolutely nothing. Oh, I can't believe that. You see, look what they're doing. Keeping Roman Reigns looking strong. God forbid they show a fan reaction and they don't edit it to make it the way that they want to. Guys, listen, I'm kind of getting a little sick and tired of everything the WWE is doing being scrutinized under this tiny little microscope. The internet has been one of the greatest inventions in the history of the world for a couple of different reasons. But one thing that makes it kind of suck is the fact that everybody's got an opinion. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that, them editing their programming isn't, something that could, negatively impact them one day. Sure, of course. But here's the thing. You guys got to realize Roman Reigns is right now their next big thing, their next John Cena, their next big, top star. Cena's leaving. They need a big baby face, and this is the guy they're hitching their wagon to. So, like you did with John Cena, either deal with it or just, or there's nothing else you can do. You want to keep booing the guy out of the building, that's fine. But you have to remember that when they're going to show these clips and they're going to play them back for years to come, when they're going to be doing a show where they're going to have like a highlights of Roman Reigns' career, you're going to see these clips. And they're not going to go with the one that was there. They're going to go with the one they edited because they don't want to see that everybody hated Roman Reigns and how controversial everything is when it comes to Roman Reigns. Now, I know that maybe I share an unpopular opinion when it comes to Roman. I am actually a big Roman Reigns fan. I actually think Roman Reigns is actually supremely talented. I think he's deserving of his spot. I think he's earned it. But this hatred all started because of one person, and that was Daniel Bryan. Now, I'm not blaming Daniel Bryan per se because it's not his fault. What I am blaming is a bunch of the Mark fans in the crowd who decided that they wanted to go and boo Roman Reigns out of the building because Daniel Bryan didn't win the Royal Rumble and main event WrestleMania for the second year in a row because that's what everybody, all these big, loud, vocal minority of fans wanted. Now, about a year or so ago, I listened to Vince Russo. Now, I know Vince is a very big, controversial figure within the wrestling company, the wrestling industry. A lot of people actually hate Vince Russo who've never met him, which I think is absolutely asinine, but that's just something that, whatever, it is what it is. So, you have Vince Russo. Vince Russo, it comes out and he's talking about the NXT fans. And I kind of clicked into my head of just how bad that fans are getting because he made a comment that, here we have, all these guys, these NXT crowd guys, and they're all the "this is awesome" chant guys. They're the this match rules guys. They're the let's get, all of our chants over guys. And that's infiltrated all the WWE shows. So now where you have maybe, let's just say, for instance, there's 20,000 people at every WWE show. 5,000 of them are coming out and they're doing all these chants and making up all these things and even doing stuff that takes away from the match, like chanting for announcers or random people in the middle of somebody's matches, which is supremely disrespectful to the people who are putting on a show for you. Now, I get it. A lot of people want their stuff to be heard. And, I get to a point where they want the WWE to know who they like. You want that? Do it through merchandise sales. Do it through the WWE Network and look up matches of guys that you like to see. Do it by not supporting some people. But don't sit there and rip into people for absolutely no reason because you think that you know better. I'm kind of getting sick and tired of wrestling fans. It's kind of getting to a point where I'm doing a wrestling podcast at the apex of my hatred for the people that I'm actually doing this podcast for. Now, I know that sounds really weird and counterproductive, but I know there are a lot of like-minded people out there just like me who can listen to this podcast and listen to it objectively and agree with me, or people that aren't like-minded like me and maybe can start to realize that maybe that they're doing more harm to the product than they are doing a benefit. This whole deal with Roman Reigns has nothing to do with editing. Because if they would have done the same thing to AJ Styles, the whole world wouldn't have even noticed, or they were like, oh, haha, they did it to AJ, they gotta make sure they get AJ over, but who cares, because AJ's already over. Right, because he was a guy who came from the indies, so of course he's over with all of you people, because all you do is you have nothing better to do but to watch wrestling 24/7. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing, I'm not saying that to insult people, because it's not an insult. I'm doing a wrestling podcast. What I'm saying is that maybe you should stop obsessing over what the WWE is giving you, and if you don't like the product that the WWE is giving you, maybe you shouldn't be one of these vocal majority people, and maybe you should move on. Don't watch the WWE if you don't like Roman Reigns, because you know Roman Reigns is going to win big matches, you know he's going to win world titles, you know that he's going to be one of the top guys. Don't watch SmackDown if you don't want to see John Cena in the main event. Now, God forbid that a guy who's been busting his ass for over 10 years for the company, been the top money earner, been the top guy in the entire industry, comes out and he decides that, I want to, it's my time. I want to be the top guy. I've earned it. I deserve it. Vince McMahon and Triple H and Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan and every other major superstar that's ever come into contact with John Cena says he's the real deal. But it's okay. We're going to trust the fans. You guys know better than guys who have been in this industry, bled, sweat, and cried for this industry because you wanted to boo him. There's a lot of different things that I have problems. There's a lot of big problems I have when it comes to pro wrestling and when it comes to its fans. And I think that as a community, we need to start coming together. Because let's face it, numbers are down right now. We are at the lowest set of numbers as it pertains to viewership of Monday Night Raw in almost WWE history. Now think about that. In the most populated area of television and radio that there is so much media to consume, and everybody is consuming media in every different way, and in every different place that they go, the WWE's ratings are down. Triple H likes to talk about it being, a social media era. People are watching their stuff on their phones and their tablets. But that doesn't account for the fact that there's so many viewers missing. And you want to know why those viewers are missing? Because they're probably like me. They're getting frustrated. They were fans during the Attitude Era. WWE couldn't keep them. And every time they switch back, they see, oh man, this John Cena guy seems pretty cool. Why are all these guys booing this guy? Man, you know what? This really freaking sucks. I'm not even going to bother watching this. These fans are annoying. You guys got to understand that you're part of the reason why people are turning the product off. And if you want to see the product be successful, you have to let the WWE do what they want to do. If they fail at that, that is their own fault. Now, I'm going to get into the booking in a little bit. I'm going to get into where the WWE is faltering when it comes to their booking and a lot of different mistakes that they've made. But as fans, we need to come together and to support the product that we love, or else we're going to get to a point where there's going to be no more product. They brought back the Cruiserweight division. They're bringing in top stars that you never thought you would ever see in the WWE or again, period. Ultimate Warrior. They inducted Randy Savage into the Hall of Fame. I know it was posthumously, but they still inducted Randy Savage into the Hall of Fame. Goldberg. Sting. These are guys that nobody ever... AJ Styles. Bobby Roode. Shinsuke Nakamura. These are names that nobody would have ever thought in a million years. Hideo Itami. That you would have never thought you'd ever see in a WWE ring. And they're there now. For you guys. Because you guys were fans of these guys and they wanted to put them on their show and let them show off what they can do because you guys wanted to see them. And the way they get paid back is they have their guys who they select because they think that they're going to be good from a business standpoint as their top guys, and you crap on them. Look, you can love Roman Reigns all you want. I'm sorry, you can hate Roman Reigns all you want, but that guy walks into a place and commands the room. He stands out. He's a humongous guy. He's got this long hair. He's got a beard. He's got huge muscles. He looks like he will beat you senseless if you cross him. He stands out. John Cena walked into a room and he commands the room. Your eyes go to that guy. I don't care who you are. You're not going to walk into a room and see it surrounded in a bunch of people and your eyes not gravitate to a guy the size of John Cena. Now, how about this? Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins. You walk into a room, do you think that your eyes, they're going to be the guys that your eyes are going to go to? In a room with John Cena, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins, you're going to recognize them in pretty much almost that order. You're going to recognize them in probably Cena first, Reigns second, Ambrose third, Rollins third, and Ambrose last. Ambrose looks like he could be me. And that's not a bad thing because you need guys that are relatable. That's why Daniel Bryan's story was so good. And this isn't a knock on guys like Ambrose and Rollins. I'm a huge fan of both of these guys. I love them. They're some of my favorite guys. I watched Seth Rollins in Ring of Honor as Tyler Black, and I was following the Age of the Fall. It was one of the first Ring of Honor shows I ever went to was when the Age of the Fall first took off. I was a Seth Rollins fan for a long time. I saw Dean Ambrose for the first time in a Dragon Gate USA show where he was Johnny Moxley. He was wrestling in New York City at BB King's, and I remember turning to two of my friends and said, this kid is going to be something big one day. He's got just some sort of an it factor about him. Man, if he bulks up just a little bit, this guy's going to go to the WWE. And not 6 months later, not only did he go from that show, not only did he go to the WWE, but Brody Lee became Luke Harper and Pac became Neville. I'm an indie wrestling fan. You're not going to sit here and catch me off guard and tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm out of touch with everything that's out there. Maybe I'm a lot more out of touch than some of the other people. You guys probably know a lot more guys in Japan and in Britain and in some of the local indie companies in the United States. You're going to probably know more about it than I do because I just unfortunately don't have the time to sit there and watch wrestling 24/7. I don't have the time. I don't have the money to invest in watching New Japan all the time. I don't have the money to invest in watching Ring of Honor all the time because I don't have Ring of Honor on my cable network. I have a wife. I have I have things I have to do. I have to pay my bills. I have work. I'm coming here to record these podcasts. These are the things I'm passionate about. So I don't get to watch as much wrestling as I would like to. But I am not out of touch. I am a fan of all of these guys. But you have to understand that they all have to fit into the show. And Daniel Bryan couldn't be heavyweight champion his entire run. He was going to have to lose it to somebody sooner or later. And this is where we get into the booking. Now, I understand that you guys may be a little bit pissed off when it comes to the way that the WWE is booked. And to be honest with you, so am I. They've squandered so many different chances. And the WWE's biggest problem is they are not creating main event stars. They have no top guys anymore. Monday Night Raw is plagued by the fact that all of their main events are surrounded by 4 people. And the other big guy, the other 2 big names that are on the show, they're both part-timers, Goldberg and Lesnar. You're going to take a step down to see who the upper mid-card is? Who is that? Who is it? Sami Zayn? Braun Strowman? These aren't guys that are going to win the Royal Rumble, go on to WrestleMania and main event anytime soon. They have to develop. It took Bryan a long time to develop. It's going to be the same for Sami Zayn. I think Sami will get there. I think Sami will be booked similar to Daniel Bryan as the underdog story, and he finally gets his big moment. But they have no upper mid-card guys. It is a sad situation for the WWE because of nobody that they're grooming to be the next big thing. Think about this. Their world champions right now are AJ Styles, who is a former TNA champion, who came over, got over huge in the WWE, and made good. And on the other side, it's Kevin Owens, who was in NXT, who was a big guy on the Indies, was in NXT for a couple months, came up to the WWE, made a huge impact, and won the World Championship. Other than that, their top guys right now are guys that they've been developed, through NXT. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. Those are the 2 other big guys on Raw. And of course, there's Jericho. But Jericho's been there. He's a stalwart, but he's also not a full-time guy. He's a part-timer. Where do they go from here? Who do you, when people are sitting there and thinking of their dream WrestleMania card, who are they putting in those spots? Because we pretty much know that Rollins is probably going to face Triple H. We don't know if Balor's going to be back in time. Who does The Undertaker face? Braun Strowman? I don't want to see that. Yeah, would it be a cool match? But that's a cool SummerSlam match. It's just WrestleMania. I don't think Braun Strowman's ready. I think Braun Strowman would be better served facing a guy like Reigns for the U.S. Championship. But we're probably not going to get that because Reigns is probably going to stay in the world title chase. He might even win the title from Owens. We might see Owens versus Jericho, which I'm okay with. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but then who does Reigns face? Who wins the Royal Rumble this year? And when somebody does, who cares? We have guys like Sheamus and Cesaro and The Miz, guys who could, should be competing at the top level in an Intercontinental Championship an Intercontinental Championship feud with Dean Ambrose, which is another thing I'll get to on the SmackDown side. And you have guys like, Dolph Ziggler also in there. These are guys that should be main eventers. Sheamus and Cesaro being squandered in the tag team title, division. They have so many tag teams. They developed so many in NXT. Why are we wasting them by putting them in a tag team when they can be wrestling at the top? The WWE's booking is skewed. It's flawed because they're not building new stars, and they're building them through NXT, but that means that everybody that they have in the WWE right now is going to get leapfrogged every time somebody comes up from NXT. And is that fair to them? They've been on the roster for a while, busting their asses. Here's my big issue. You have a guy like Dean Ambrose. Maybe he didn't make a good world champion, and that's fine. Not everybody does. Maybe his first run wasn't that good. Chris Jericho's first run wasn't that good. Look at him. He's had multiple runs after that. One of the best guys in the business. However, when Roman Reigns, lost my train of thought. 16 minutes. Yeah, maybe Ambrose's reign wasn't that great. But he still looked at as a bona fide main eventer. He gets put into feuds with guys like Dolph Ziggler, who everybody should have been excited about the fact that he was, going to be pushed to a main event spot. And they crapped on the match thinking, oh, now they want to finally push Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, that's the point of the brand extension, jerks. Then, he gets taken out of that feud. He gets beat by AJ Styles. AJ Styles is defending against John Cena. And then they have nobody. Then it's Baron Corbin, who I don't think is ready to be a main eventer yet. And after Baron Corbin, it's The Miz, and it's Dolph Ziggler. These guys have been, with the exception of The Miz, these guys have all faced these top guys already. I mean, Miz hasn't had a match against Styles. I don't think he's had a match, a big-time marquee match against Ambrose, except for the Intercontinental Championship match they just had. So, I mean, Miz is kind of would be a fresh guy to add, and he is one of the best heels in the business right now. Other than that, I mean, who else do we have anymore? We can't wait for Samoa Joe to come up and make an impact because he's leapfrogging all the guys that we have currently on the roster. The WWE needs to shit or get off the pot, excuse my language, with some of these people. You have guys that are up there that are busting their ass and it looks like they're going to go nowhere. Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton are another two people being squandered in a tag team division. Stop giving guys belts for the sake of giving them belts. American Alpha has those titles. I'm happy with that. I hated the fact they put Randy in that position because now, instead of having a guy like Bray Wyatt go after the world championship, he's being used in a tag team role. Eric Rowan's teasing he's going to come back, and that's great because you can team up Harper and Rowan again, let them dominate the tag team division. Orton can feud with Bray Wyatt for a little while, and that breaks off their feud, and Wyatt can go and be a main eventer. Orton can go and be a main eventer, and they each can offset guys that they're feuding. Because if Orton's feuding with AJ Styles, which would be an unbelievable match, by the way, and I still can't believe we haven't seen that yet, Bray Wyatt can feud with John Cena, or Dolph Ziggler, or Dean Ambrose. And if, Bray Wyatt is in the world title contention and he's for some reason is in a program with AJ Styles, then Orton has the ability to work with some of these other guys and try to get them over like Baron Corbin and, even to get Dolph Ziggler elevated back up to a main event level or The Miz. These are so many interesting matches that they have and they're not using these guys to their fullest potential. Why are we not seeing more stuff with Apollo Crews? The guy's tremendous. He deserves more than just being, some guy who's going to get beat all the time. He came up and everybody, it all looked good, but then all of a sudden, boom, goodbye, Apollo Crews doesn't even matter anymore. And that's ridiculous. The biggest problem WWE has right now is that they're not utilizing these talents to what they need to be. I mean, Rusev is doing a great job on Raw, but I mean, guy should be, challenging for the world title right now, not in a feud with Enzo and Cass. And they're not doing enough skits. That backstage segment with Lana and Enzo, where Rusev came and attacked him, was great. Why are we not doing more of that kind of stuff? Why are we not seeing, the stuff that we're seeing on WWE.com that make these, that they show a snippet of on Raw as some of the things that are featured on the show? We're not going to care about Bo Dallas and Darren Young in a backstage segment with Enzo and Cass if we don't see Bo Dallas or the Shining Stars, if we don't see them on Raw doing these skits. We need for them to be put to the forefront and shown. You have a 3-hour show. There is no reason why you can't squeeze vignettes in. Shorten some of these matches by 10 minutes, overall, and throw in 7 or 8 vignettes. Look at the way Monday Night Raw was booked during the Attitude Era, and I'm not saying book it like that, but structure your show like that. Make it so that I don't want to change my channel. Because there are just way too many times that I want to change the channel. Or I want to hit the fast forward button. The main event on Raw does not need to be 2 segments every week. The main event on Raw can be 1 segment. It's fine. There doesn't need to be a 15, 20-minute match on Raw every week. And if there is, it should be towards the middle of the show. The main event should be whatever's going to be setting up the next week's show, because I want to know that I have to tune into Monday Night Raw next week because I need to see it because of the way the main event ended. And that's where the booking comes into play. So there it is. There's my rant for this week. I think that I made a couple of really good points. I probably pissed off a lot of people that listen to this show. And you know what? If I did, I'm sorry. But to a point, I'm not sorry, because I think that wrestling fans need to be put in check just a little bit. And that's one of the things that I'm going to be here to do. Because I don't want to see the business that I grew up loving, the business that we all grew up loving, get ruined because we all think we know better. I'm tired of seeing people online telling me how to book shows that have never had a day's experience in the wrestling business. I'm tired of seeing people, critique wrestlers' performances and tell them they can't wrestle when they've never taken a bump. I've never taken a bump in a wrestling ring. So I will never, ever tell anybody that you'll never hear the words out of my mouth, this guy can't work, this guy can't wrestle, this guy sucks. Because I've never done it. By the same point, you see a guy in the NFL and he's kind of looking like he's washed up, I'll tell you, yeah, you know what? Maybe his days are behind him. Maybe he wasn't as good as he was in college. Man, maybe he was kind of a bust in the NFL. But I will never say he sucks, and I will never tell you he has no talent, because I can't do what he does. As bad as he is, he's 20 times better than I am. So let's get out of that mindset. And let's maybe watch the show a little bit more. And let's watch the show from the WWE's point of view. Maybe just for 2 weeks. And if I'm wrong, and you're going to sit there and you're going to tell me that, no, I can't get it out of my head. I need to know that I can book this show better than the WWE. I need to know that the WWE sucks and that everything I say is better than what they're doing. Then fine. But give me 2 weeks to watch a show and take your personal biases out of it. And tell me what you think. Because in all honesty, Raw hasn't been good, but it hasn't been as bad as everybody's been saying it has been. Now that I've had an angry rant for the last 20 minutes, I want to leave you guys off on some good news. I'm going to give you guys my pick for the match of the week. Now, I told you last week, every week I'm going to come here and I'm going to give you guys a match that I think you guys should watch, because I think it was absolutely phenomenal. And I'm not going to lie, most of the stuff that I'm going to give you is going to be on the WWE Network, specifically because I think that most people who are going to be listening to this have access to the WWE Network. If they don't have it, they know a friend who has it. And it'd be fun to have you guys just watch one singular match every week that, we can all discuss about. And like I said last week, if you guys want to, post some comments on these videos, tell me what you guys think, talk about the match that I'm going to give you as my match of the week. Then, maybe I'll get a conversation going in the beginning of the show, read some of the stuff that you guys say on the air, next week. We'll talk and we can have a discussion, a little bit. I can answer any questions or read all your comments and, expand on them. This week is going to be, because we're coming up on the Royal Rumble, instead of giving you just a straight up, Royal Rumble match to watch like I did last week, this week I want to give you really just one of the best matches that's ever taken place at the Royal Rumble. It was Royal Rumble 2000, Madison Square Garden. Mick Foley as Cactus Jack versus Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship. This match was a street fight. It was bloody. It was barbaric. It was fun to watch. One of the best matches of Triple H's career, and if you don't believe me, go back and watch that match. Compare it to all the stuff that he's done before and after, and I will tell you that match holds up as one of the top performances he's ever had in his career. Well, that's going to be it for the Slam Sessions this week. As always, you want to find us? Do it on Twitter, @the Slam Sessions. And make sure you check back on YouTube every week. We're going to have one of these up a week, so it should be fun. Comment rate, do whatever you guys want. Let me know what you think. If you think I suck, tell me. That's fine. I'm not going to take personal offense to it. I probably think you guys suck too. Just kidding. Only a little bit. But that's it for session 3 of the Slam Sessions. I will see you guys next week. Thank you for listening.